Ramblin Man here. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the border. I know people are probably like, I'm getting tired of the border, but they're also very intrigued by it. Now, I think on Thursday we might find out a few more things when Biden has to do his press conference. They haven't even put it on a time yet, but I got some video here I just want to show you. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick was talking to Fox News. Now, I usually like to stay away from Fox or CNN because they're both biased, one way or another. But this had it had Alejandro Mayorkas on there as well, talking about the border. And what I want to stress to you right now is that we are in a place right now where everyone's pointing fingers at the other. And the issue with that is that, okay, so you had Trump had set up some policies and had done away with what's called the catch and release. Now, if you're not familiar with catch and release, if they caught an illegal immigrant, they would keep them for just a period of time, get their information, try to get a court date set, and then let them go. And then what would happen is they would come back for their court date, which in most cases they wouldn't come back. And hey, they're loving that because it makes it easier for them to stay in the States and just dodge ICE and other things, right? But by doing what happened when Biden came through is he reversed a bunch of these policies, and that's one of those. And he had done away with catch and release. So now they're just catching them and just letting them all go, not even setting court dates. There's a lot of big issues right now. And when he stopped the building the wall and everything, it's not like the Mexican government or those in Mexico. Remember, there's other countries in there, not just Mexico, but people come up from other countries, terrorists even, they can get in that way, just Chinese. I mean, we're talking about 25 or more countries coming through Mexico because it's the easy route into Texas. And not only Texas, they go through New Mexico and California as well. So this is just an influx, and I'm talking a huge influx in regard to the amount of people coming through. And right now they said that it's quite possibly going to be the most illegal immigrants actually crossing the border in the last 20 years. Right now it's more than the most we ever had was last March of 2020, and we've already surpassed that. So let's listen to what they have to say real quick, and then when they're done talking, and we won't let them go all the way through the video because I don't want you to have to watch the whole thing, but it does give you a little insight into what the Biden administration is thinking, and also what our views are here in Texas. Okay, so let's just listen to this.
Right. The border is secure. The border is closed. We've been unequivocal in that, and we are operationalizing our processes, executing our plans. We are a nation of laws, and we treat vulnerable children humanely. We can do it, and we are doing it.
Okay, Lieutenant Governor, how does that line up with your assessment of reality there on the ground? He says the border's unequivocally closed.
It's just an absolute lie. I mean, what's wrong with these people? And by the way, I'm not saying that she was laughing at someone who drowned. My point is, this is such a serious situation to the sovereignty of our country, to the safety of our citizens, and to these people. And I'm an elected official. When I know there's something serious, I don't laugh about it. I don't joke about it. So that was my point. And Shannon, this guy is just lying, or he's absolutely stupid, because it's wide open. There is no control on the border. They're now apprehending people and turning them over without even giving them a court date. Not that that matters. There are hundreds of thousands of backlog. I mean, you can cross the Rio Grande. If you can swim across, you can get across, and they greet you there and say, hey, you're on your own. I mean, think about it. We're just letting them go into the country. We have no idea what their criminal background may be. We have no idea if they have COVID. We have no idea where they're going. This is ludicrous for this man to say this. He ought to be fired, and for Joe Biden to say he understands what's going on the border, again, it's either total negligence or total stupidity or a lack of caring. This is so obvious to see every night. And where did this American public and this administration think we're putting all these people? What do they think we're doing with all of these kids? We're capturing now, again, in the Rio Grande, in the Del Rio sector where our ladies were today, about now 35,000 people a month.
Okay, so we'll stop it there because they're talking about where are we putting these people. I've been listening to a lot of different people online as far as like different YouTubers as well as media groups. And one of the things is, they have people in Midland, and I know those of you out in West Texas, you already know about this because they're already putting up camps. They're setting them in 2 other places in Texas, and it's only going to go up from there. I know we're talking about across the street from, over in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and I think it's ridiculous that we have to worry about all these people. I've seen a lot of different memes and different things. People throw things online all the time, but it's true though. Like, we have veterans that are homeless, but we're putting up illegal aliens. Instead of taking those people and actually holding them, sending them back to their own country, or stopping them at the border, we can't even right now keep up. I feel really bad for the Border Patrol because they are so overwhelmed. They're at the point where they're asking for volunteers for help. Now, let me tell you about that. When you ask for somebody for volunteers, it comes to the point where you're at a breaking point when you're asking for volunteers, because you're asking people that don't do this on a daily basis to come help, which puts a lot more liability on you, as well as you're dealing with people you don't have to watch them, as well as the people you're trying to capture, right? So they're finding, I think they said in this last month, they've had 11,000 underage minors. Okay, so 11,000 minors unaccompanied that have been taken into and put into these little holding cells, as you want to call them, whether they're made out of chain link or plastic or whatever the case may be. They're putting them in there, and then at some point you can only hold them for so long. Then they're trying to put them up in these hotels or whatever you want to. Their camps or where they are. But you're talking about $86.9 million is how much was being spent to put these thousands of people into a place of holding, a detention area. Instead of spending that on our homeless or people, we're going through a time of pandemic. We're going through COVID, and so we've had a lot of people lose their jobs. We've had a lot of people lose their homes. We have veterans that need help. And instead of putting that money into the VA or something that would help them, or say, hey, you know what, let's get you off the street, let's set this up. We have more and more and more people living in tents all across the state of Texas because they don't have a place to live. They lost their home. They lost their jobs. And right now we're spending $86.9 million. That's how much so far was set aside for this to house illegal immigrants. This should not be an issue. Now, am I saying that we never had a problem with illegal immigrants? No. But what I'm saying was all the policies that were in place that had slowed it down or had let them know, hey, they're not playing anymore. They're not doing the whole catch and release. Well, we're doing that again now because Trump had done away with the catch and release because no one ever comes back. They would catch them, release them, wait for them to come back for court date, and they never show. So he did away with that. Instead, they were taking them and returning them back to Mexico or back where they came from, deporting them. But instead, all these things have been lifted. And then I saw something, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw something about how they were going to reinstate some of Trump's policies because just to see what they could do to get things back on track. That is, like I said, I read and watched so many different things. I don't know how accurate that is, but I will tell you that what we're doing right now, you can't turn around and just say it's Trump's fault or, this wouldn't have happened if they just let Biden do what he's doing. I don't really even know that Biden knows what he's doing because I don't know that they're his policies as much as they're his administration's policies that he's implementing. And I don't know that he remembers doing those and signing things. Like I mentioned before in one of my other videos, I just don't think his capacity is there. Getting off track there, though. With the border, This is a crisis. And if anyone tells you differently, then it's because they're not dealing with it, or they're not seeing it, or they don't want to see it. So what I'm telling you right now is, please subscribe. Make sure you comment and let me know what you think. I'd love to hear what you really feel about this subject and what your thoughts are on it. Also, make sure you tune in on Thursday. We don't have a time yet, and that may have been put out in the meantime while I've been doing this video, but we don't have a time yet as to when he will be doing his conference. But pay attention, because I think it's going to tell us a lot about him and his administration. So this situation, this whole border situation, is much worse than anyone will let on. And if you really want to know how it is, ask the ranchers and those down in New Mexico and in Texas on the border. It's much worse than we even see up here. And a lot of different people up in states north of Texas are seeing some of this now. But even that being said, I live 3 hours. Like I said, I live 3 hours from the border, and I don't see as much of it as bad as it could be. I can't even imagine being down there when you have thousands upon thousands of people coming through your yard, basically your land. So, like I said, comment, let me know what you think about it. But I think something needs to happen, and it needs to happen fast, because we should not be putting illegal immigrants up in temporary housing. Give them an MRE and send them on their way. That's what I think. And let me know what your thoughts are. Ramblin' Man, out.